war in the Middle East. Tehran says any attack on its power plants would trigger immediate retaliation, including the full closure of the Strait of Hormuz, strikes on energy facilities and also US-linked interests across the region. And it all comes after President Donald Trump warned that he would destroy Iran's energy facilities if it doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours. Now, Tehran has been restricting ships that's transporting oil and gas out of the Gulf through the waterway, and it's also warning of retaliation if Trump goes ahead with this threat. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says the Strait of Hormuz is not closed, but ships hesitate because insurers fear the war of choice the United States initiated, not Iran. He insists that freedom of navigation can't exist without freedom of trade. Respect both, or, he says, expect neither. Ali Hashim reports from Tehran.
It's clear that the tone is confrontational and it's multi-layered when it comes to the different authorities and sectors within the state: military, diplomacy, politicians. So they're all within one framework, which is retaliating to American interests in the region and Israel when it comes to the targeting of Iran's power plants. This is what we heard from the military and their spokesperson, who actually posted a map showing several power plants and facilities across the Gulf and in Israel. Also, we heard from them saying that the Strait of Hormuz will continue to be closed till these power plants are repaired. The Speaker of the Parliament, Mohammed Bakr Qalibaf, a very influential politician and someone who is believed to be in the war room right now, also said that this is going to lead to retaliation, and later on he tweeted once again saying that this is going to also lead to retaliation towards American financial companies and whoever works with them. The foreign ministry, as you just read, Abbas Araghchi spoke about that the strait isn't closed actually, but it's the insurance companies who are hesitating because they fear the war of choice, as he said, and this strait is open to the friends of Iran. They are exploiting the leverage they have on the Hormuz Strait, and this is causing disruptions in the energy market, especially if there's also another strait closed, like Bab el-Mandab. Whenever the Houthis enter the war, then there will be another choke point, and there will be another global crisis. So this is what they are relying on right now, plus the retaliation that they are vowing to do in case they are attacked in their power plants. So Iran is trying its best during this war to raise the price, put more pain on other parties in order to pressure the United States to stop this war.
All right, well, we are live in Kuwait City, Baghdad, Amman and Washington, D.C., and that's where we start with Teresa. Teresa, we're almost halfway through this deadline, this sort of self-imposed deadline that Trump has put on Iran. It seems his original plan was to escort the ships through the Hormuz. Well, that seems to have gone away, at least for now. Now he says he'll obliterate Iran's energy or else, basically.
Well, yes, and we're going to have to see what the response is going to be. And certainly the Strait of Hormuz has become a priority for the Trump administration right now. And this war that started initially to attack the nuclear installations in Iran, then it changed towards a regime change. And now what we're seeing is that opening the Strait of Hormuz is a priority. And what we're seeing is there's been a change in the discourse of the president. On Friday, he started speaking about winding down the situation. And now on Saturday, we saw that he threatened to obliterate the power plants in Iran if they did not open the Strait of Hormuz. So suddenly, we've seen that during the past week, the Trump administration have been pushing the European Union to get involved in opening the Strait of Hormuz. They have been reluctant until now to involve military assets, mostly because this is a war that, according to them, they did not start and they did not support in the first place. So on last Thursday, we heard that there was a declaration where they said that the escalation is a priority right now, but at the same time, they want to start looking into options about what to do with the Strait of Hormuz. But what we're seeing right now is that more Marines, more troops are being sent to the Middle East. The Trump administration is sending 3 warships and 2,500 extra Marines to join the forces that are already on the ground. This is a special unit from the Marines that has been involved in ground operations, in high-risk operations at sea, and some suggest that it could be involved in operations involving the Iranian coast. Let's not forget that Iran has been mining the Strait of Hormuz. They've been using small boats to attack the vessels that belong to countries that are part of this attack. So suddenly everyone is looking in a way to see what type of the operations these Marines specifically are going to be involved in.
All right, Teresa, hold off for a moment there. I'll come back to you in a second. But the US has waived sanctions on Iranian oil purchases at sea for 30 days, and that's to ease surging oil prices. Well, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says it will also allow Washington to limit Iran's oil profits.
About 140 million barrels are out on the water. In essence, we are jiu-jitsuing the Iranians. We are using their own oil against them. We have a much better line of sight, to be clear, at Treasury when this oil goes to, if it goes to Indonesia, if it goes to Japan, if it goes to Korea, we have a much better line of sight and are able to block accounts that the oil goes into.
All right, so Teresa, that's the US Treasury Secretary there defending that decision to lift sanctions on Iranian oil. Is it likely to reassure Americans, do you think?
Well, and that's a big question right now, because the price of oil in this country is a huge concern, not just for the government, but for the population as well. It has gone up almost $1 since this war started. And wherever you walk around, that's what people want to know. So what Bessent is announcing is that they're waiving the sanctions on Iranian oil for 30 days. They have carried out other measures, among them, for example, reutilizing the strategic reserves of oils in the United States, also reducing or waiving sanctions on Russian oil, among other questions. And it's important to know that it's not clear how fast the impact is going to be seen on the streets. During that same interview, Bessent said that it doesn't matter if it takes 30, 40 or 100 days, but if it's going to be or represent peace in the Middle East. And that's what everyone here wants to know, whether when this war is going to end, how long it's going to last, what's really the end game of all this. And as I said before, the price of oil, the price of gas in this country has gone up almost $1. People talk about it on the streets, on the pumps, on the supermarkets. Small businesses are concerned about what is going to happen. And for the government, of course, there's the concern of the midterm elections that are happening later on this year. Historically, the price of oil has played a crucial role in elections in the United States. And certainly the price of oil is also going to have an impact on who people are going to vote.
And certainly, when that affects people's pockets, they'll definitely have a say, much more of a say, perhaps. Thanks a lot, Teresa Bow. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has promised to target senior commanders of Iran's military. Netanyahu was visiting one of the towns hit by Iranian missiles on Saturday, and that's where more than 180 people were injured in Arad and Dimona. Victoria Gatenby reports.
Significant damage can be seen across residential areas in Arad in southern Israel after an overnight Iranian ballistic missile strike that devastated an entire neighborhood. Rescue teams had to pull people from under the rubble, with the injured being taken to nearby hospitals. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the scene on Sunday with a defiant message. He said Israel will, quote, do everything to destroy Iran.
What we are doing is paving the way for the Iranian people to rid themselves of this tyrant regime. We are hitting the foundations of the regime. This is what we have to do. We hope you will create the atmosphere that will lead to the fall of the regime. We will ruin their nuclear and missile programs and their capability to manufacture ballistic missiles.
Israel's president and foreign minister also visited the scene and accused Iran of targeting civilians.
The Iranians do not differentiate between Muslims and Jews and Christians, or between elderly and young. All civilians are there to be killed and destroyed. But we are here to show something else, that we are ever resilient.
The attack on Arad came after a strike on another southern